In the heart of the city, shrouded in luxury and wealth, millionaire Oliver Graves lived a life of structured perfection. But one evening, everything changed. On a cold autumn night, as the golden leaves danced around his private estate, Oliver found a frail girl collapsed at the entrance of his grand park, a beggar, seemingly forgotten by the world. Moved by a mysterious pull, he took her to his mansion, intending only to save a life. Little did he know that this act of kindness would unravel the carefully woven tapestry of his world, and set in motion a chain of events that would change his life forever. Title: A millionaire found a little beggar fainted in his park and took her to his mansion. Upon returning from work, he started crying when he saw what the girl had done to his blind wife. Oliver Graves was the epitome of wealth and success. Known for his business acumen, his sprawling mansion was the symbol of his financial empire. Yet, behind the grandeur was a man who lived a life of quiet despair. His wife, Amelia, once the vibrant heart of his life, had lost her sight in a tragic accident years ago. The spark that once lit their relationship had dimmed, and the mansion that should have echoed with laughter had turned cold and empty. Amelia, once a gifted pianist and painter, struggled with the loss of her sight. She had withdrawn into herself, and though Oliver tried to support her, the emotional distance between them widened each day. He provided everything she needed: luxury, comfort, a personal nurse, but what they lacked was connection. She lived her days in silence, the grand piano in the corner of their vast living room gathering dust. Oliver buried himself in his work, drowning the pain of their lost intimacy in business deals and boardroom meetings. On the fateful evening when Oliver found the beggar girl, he was returning from one such long day at work. His mansion, hidden behind high iron gates and surrounded by a private park, was isolated from the world. But as he drove through the gates, his headlights caught the small, crumpled figure of a girl lying unconscious by the side of the road. Her clothes were torn and dirty, her body thin and fragile, and her face pale with exhaustion. She looked no older than 16. Something stirred within Oliver, an unfamiliar urge to help. Without thinking, he stopped the car, lifted her into the back seat, and drove her up to the house. Inside the mansion, the staff rushed to his side, unsure of what to do. "Sir, should we call the authorities?" his butler, Richard, asked. "No," Oliver replied, his voice soft but firm. "Prepare a room for her. Get the doctor. We'll take care of her here." The girl, named Lily, slowly recovered under the care of the mansion's staff. She was shy, barely speaking more than a few words, but her large, dark eyes held a sadness that tugged at Oliver's heart. He learned that she had no family, no home. She had been living on the streets for as long as she could remember, scraping by on the kindness of strangers and sheer willpower. The city, ruthless and indifferent, had worn her down to the point of collapse. Amelia, curious about the new arrival but hesitant to intrude, stayed in the shadows. She heard the whispered conversations between the maids and the cook about the poor beggar girl and how Oliver had brought her in. It struck a chord deep within her. Once, she had been a beacon of light in this house, full of hope and life. Now, she felt like a ghost, drifting through rooms she could no longer see. As the days passed, Lily grew stronger, and a strange bond formed between her and Amelia. Though Lily had been terrified of Amelia at first, fearful of this elegant woman who seemed so distant, the two soon found solace in each other's company. Amelia, despite her blindness, could sense the girl's kindness and vulnerability. Lily, who had never known love or comfort, found herself drawn to the blind woman's quiet strength. Amelia, for the first time in years, began to feel alive again. She started playing the piano once more, her hands gliding over the keys as Lily listened in awe. The music that had once filled the mansion with joy returned, and with it, a glimmer of hope. Oliver watched from afar, surprised by the transformation in his wife. The distance between them seemed to shrink with every note of music that echoed through the halls. He found himself wondering if this strange, fragile girl had somehow brought a piece of their lost happiness back. But then, things began to change in unexpected ways. Lily, who had been so grateful for the kindness she had received, started to feel conflicted. She had been given everything she had ever wanted, a warm bed, food, safety, but the more she saw of the Graves' life, the more she realized how broken their marriage was. She began to care deeply for Amelia, and though she admired Oliver, she could see the pain he tried so hard to hide. One night, after Amelia had gone to bed, Oliver sat in his study, staring at a photograph of him and his wife from years ago. He hadn't noticed Lily standing in the doorway until she spoke. "Mr. Graves," she said quietly, "you saved me. You gave me a chance when no one else would. But I see how sad you are. I see how lonely you both are." Oliver looked up, startled by her words. "Lily, it's not your concern. You've been through enough, don't worry about us." But Lily wasn't satisfied with that answer. "You're both kind, but you're hurting each other without meaning to. I've been alone my whole life, and I know what it looks like. You still love her, don't you?" Oliver sighed, his hands gripping the edge of the desk. "Of course I do. But it's complicated. After the accident, things changed. She changed. And I couldn't fix it." "Maybe you're trying to fix the wrong thing," Lily said softly. Her words hung in the air like a heavy weight. Oliver didn't know how to respond, so he stayed silent, watching as Lily turned and left the room. Days turned into weeks, and the tension in the mansion grew. Lily's presence, once a breath of fresh air, began to stir deeper emotions within both Oliver and Amelia. Amelia sensed that something was shifting in her husband, but she couldn't place what it was. Oliver, for his part, found himself growing more attached to Lily than he had anticipated. She reminded him of the life he had wanted, the life that had slipped through his fingers. One evening, when Oliver was working late again, Amelia and Lily sat together by the piano. Amelia had been teaching Lily how to play simple melodies, and the girl was a quick learner. As they sat in the dimly lit room, their fingers dancing across the keys, Amelia spoke for the first time about the accident that had taken her sight. "I was painting," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The light was perfect that day, and I didn't want to stop. I didn't see the scaffolding falling until it was too late. I woke up in the hospital, and everything was dark. I thought I had died." Lily listened, her heart aching for the woman who had suffered so much. "But you didn't," she said quietly. "You're still here." "Am I?" Amelia asked, her voice bitter. "I don't feel alive anymore. I feel like I've been trapped in this darkness for so long that I've forgotten what the light looks like." Lily reached out and took Amelia's hand. "You can't see it, but it's still there," she said softly. "You just have to let yourself feel it again." Amelia squeezed her hand, tears slipping down her cheeks. For the first time in years, she felt a flicker of hope. But just as Amelia began to heal, Oliver's inner conflict reached a breaking point. He had grown too close to Lily, and he knew it. His feelings for her were confusing. Was it gratitude? Pity? Or something more dangerous? One night, after a tense dinner, Oliver found himself alone with Lily in the hallway. The air between them was thick with unspoken words. "I think it's time for you to leave," Oliver said suddenly, his voice strained. Lily looked at him, surprised. "What? Why? You've done more than enough. You've helped Amelia in ways I couldn't, and I'm grateful. But, this can't go on. It's not right." Lily felt a lump in her throat. "I don't understand. I thought I was helping." "You are," Oliver said, his voice cracking. "But you're also making things harder. For me. For Amelia. I can't keep pretending that everything is fine when it's not." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to make things worse." "I know," Oliver said softly. "That's why you need to go." The next morning, Lily packed her things and prepared to leave the mansion. She didn't say goodbye to Amelia, she couldn't bear to. Instead, she left a note on the piano, thanking her for everything and wishing her happiness. As Lily walked down the long driveway, she felt a deep sadness settle over her. She had thought that coming to the mansion would be the start of a new life, but instead, she had only caused more pain. But as she reached the gates, she heard footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw Amelia, standing there with her white cane, her face turned toward the sky. "Lily," Amelia called, her voice steady. "Don't go." Lily froze, her heart pounding. "I know why Oliver asked you to leave," Amelia said, her sightless eyes scanning the empty space around her. "He's afraid. Afraid of what he feels. But I'm not. Not anymore." Lily walked back toward her, tears streaming down her face. "You helped me see again, Lily," Amelia continued, her voice full of emotion. "Not with my eyes, but with my heart. I know Oliver loves me, but he's lost. And I was too, until you showed me the way." Lily shook her head, sobbing. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't," Amelia said, reaching out for her. "You saved us both." In that moment, Oliver appeared, his face pale and drawn. He had heard everything. Without a word, he crossed the distance between them and took both Amelia and Lily into his arms. Together, they stood in the morning light, the mansion behind them no longer a place of shadows and silence, but a home filled with love and forgiveness. The end.